It's just about the top of the hour, and there's no doubt you are tuned in and just in time for the top bulletin in town. This is what's coming up.
Tonight, baby Baraka was in the house.
The Honorable Zuleka withdraw from the chamber.
Kwale woman rep takes baby to parliament, sparking debate on special rooms for mothers.
Speaker, all of us have children. So Speaker, this house, there is a stranger.
Look at our waist.
So now I've been chased from work.
Plus, Kenya-Somalia dispute is about to escalate. Motion urging government to prepare military intervention tabled in Parliament.
And suspicious edible oil released into the market. DCI now investigating Trade CS for ordering unconditional release.
Also tonight, female passerbys who helped a woman in labor.
Sikuogopa, nikaweka chini kibeti, nikaingia ndani ya hiyo Uber, nikaanza kumsaidia.
Selfless act in a city of each for their self, caught on tape.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai and Smriti Vidyarthi.
Thanks very much for joining us tonight. Our sign language interpreter is David Agondoa. Now, it was an exciting morning in Parliament when Kwale woman representative Zuleka Hassan carried her baby into Parliament's main chamber, bringing the House business to a screeching halt as the attention turned to Zuleka and her baby.
NTV's Olive Burrows brings us the action that also revived debate on the struggles faced by the working mom.
National Assembly is 349 members. As much as she might want to take care of her child, this is not the place for it.
If only babies could talk, then this little bundle right here would have quite the story to tell of her day out in the National Assembly and how she caused the adults to fuss and fume.
The Honorable Zuleka withdraw from the chamber. Sergeant at Arms.
But even as the adults got hot under the collar all around her, baby Baraka, which translates to blessing, kept her cool. Perhaps taking cue from her mother, who maintained her composure as she was surrounded by the sergeants at arms and as the House leadership yelled and prodded her to get out. She did, eventually. Outside the chambers as Mummy handled her business.
This wasn't planned or anything. This is, special case.
Look at our waist.
So now I've been chased from work. Because I have a baby.
Baraka entertained herself, clueless to the excitement her presence provoked in the chamber.
All of us have children. So Speaker, this house, there is a stranger. And it has never happened since 1963.
We are seeing something so unique that I don't think has happened in any parliament.
You would be wrong, Mr. Mbadi. US Senator Tammy Duckworth made history in April of last year when she became the first to take her baby to the floor of the House during a vote. Then there's the Australian MP Larissa Waters, who breastfed her daughter Alia as she moved a motion in June of 2017. Her image shared widely on social media. Not forgetting New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who made history by attending the UN General Assembly last year with her 3-month-old daughter.
In June of 2017, members of parliament unanimously voted to pass a bill that would require employers to provide special rooms such as these for breastfeeding mothers. Question is, are they preaching water and drinking wine?
Parliament has done very well in terms of passing laws. The question is, why is it that the Parliamentary Service Commission has not given priority to establishing a place where young mothers like Zuleka can breastfeed?
And going with the baby to the chamber, baby is not an atomic bomb. They won't explode.
Olive Burrows, NTV.
What a story. So much drama around the entry of baby Baraka into Parliament, Mark. But really, she was the star of the show. Did you see how cool, calm and collected she was?
It's funny how you say the entry of baby Baraka. You make it sound like she was voted into House. But yes, it will, in my view, a very creative way of bringing up this particular debate. So she moved this motion. This is Baby Baraka. And well done. I mean, we need this discussion even here at Nation Media Group.
Although, of course, they say it wasn't planned. It just happened. It is obviously difficult for working mothers in certain situations. But we would like to know your view on this incident that took place today. What are your thoughts on what happened in Parliament? Do send us a text message on 20686. You can tweet us at NTV Kenya or at Mark Masai or at Smriti Vidyarthi. Also find us on Facebook at NTV Kenya.
As you think about that, there is something else that is brewing, and Kenya is wading deeper into the territorial dispute with Somalia and is considering deploying the military to the disputed border with a neighbor if the National Assembly approves a motion tabled by Majority Leader Aden Duale.
Well, the motion seeks to compel the government to explore other ways of protecting the country's territory if the other diplomatic avenues fail to push back Somalia from the contested area, where it's put up the oil blocks for auction at the end of the year.
Our senior legal affairs reporter, Ken Mijungu, has a perspective on this.
It's only weeks to a landmark ruling that will determine who owns the oil blocks claimed by Kenya but annexed by Somalia in the Indian Ocean. But already Kenya is taking steps to pile pressure on Somalia to honor agreements that have seen the two countries respect their respective boundaries. Majority Leader Aden Duale presented a motion he co-authored with Minority Leader John Mbadi, seeking to compel the government to explore other ways to protect Kenya's territorial integrity. The motion is yet to be debated since the House Business Committee has not allocated debate time, but will likely be on the floor on Thursday before Parliament goes for recess.
Considering that the determination of the case will be made in September 2019 and Kenya is exposed to irregular, losing up to 26% of its exclusive economic zone and 85% of the continental shelf.
Duale wants members of parliament to take urgent steps to implement in full the provisions of the Maritime Zones Act with regards to the delimitation of the northern boundary of the exclusive economic zone with the Federal Republic of Somalia through the agreement envisioned by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Coastal States, engage the federal government of Somalia to resolve the boundary dispute through diplomacy and dispute resolutions mechanisms available under the African Union, the Intergovernmental Authority for Development, and the East Africa Community. Kenya will also protest to the United Nations against the assertion of the jurisdiction by the International Court of Justice over the maritime border conflict, and as a last option, deploy the Kenya Defense Forces to the subject boundary to undertake the responsibility of protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. This dispute has been debated in the Somalia parliament, and Kenya now says unless by way of a referendum where Kenyans resolve to alter their territory, she will not cede even an inch of its space. Somalia in February put on auction offshore oil blocks in the contested territory. The winning bidder could begin exploration in January of 2020. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
All right, well, NTV's Ken Mijungu joins us now live in studio to shed more light on this important issue. Ken, where did all this start?
Right, Smriti, to understand this, you have to go back to history, and I'll try and explain this through history a bit. And it takes us back to the year 1924. Now, this is a time that identifiable borders between Kenya and Somalia were drawn. That's back in 1924. 40 years later, in 1964, the Organization of African Union makes this resolution and tells countries you have to preserve your own borders. But 4 years before then, that's 1960, Somalia had just achieved its independence, and Somalia was not subscribing to this OAU. So what happens is that Somalia fails to recognize this resolution of preservation of borders. So Somalia tries to be a little bit stable, and between 1963 and 1964, 1967, there was an expansionist idea by Somalia. So it means Somalia was getting into other countries' borders as much as they could. And that is the time, Smriti, remember the Shifter Wars. And this was later corrected. And through the Arusha Accord, through the Prime Minister of Somalia, that's Mohammed Igal. Then Said Barre comes in, and immediately what does he do? He decides that he's not going to recognize the African Union, the Organization of African Union Resolution. So Said Barre is sitting in power, and in 1981, let's jump to 1981. So he decides to stop these expansionist ideas and let Kenya stays with its boundaries in 1981. So let's take you to 1982, and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Coastal States allows countries to establish mutual economic zones. So when that happens, Kenya, back in 1979, they had gotten their own boundaries, but without this convention by the United Nations Convention of the Coastal States. So Kenya had to domesticate this, and a Law Maritime Act was established to domesticate this in Kenya. So this continues, and luckily, back in 1981, Said Barre denounces that. So Kenya is now stable, but in 1991, Somalia yet again descends into anarchy, Smriti. So what happens? Kenya never had an opportunity to renegotiate with Somalia in spite of what has been happening until 2014, when Somalia decides to refer this matter to the International Court of Justice. And that's where we are today, Smriti.
And with that historical perspective, let's look forward. And very soon, there will be a very important ruling. Then what?
It means Kenya has to agree with that ruling or disagree with it, and it means Somalia will get what it wants because it believes it will get justice from ICJ. But that is the reason why what we're reporting on today is happening, because Kenya has moved ahead to pile pressure, and they want to go back to the Anglo-Italian Treaty of 1924, when these borders were divided into 29 equal boundaries or identifiable boundaries. So that's what they're banking on. They're banking on all these legislations and conventions over time from OAU 1964, and they are hoping that indeed the ICJ, while making that decision next month, will indeed consider what has been happening since 1924, so that they remain with this border, so that the territorial integrity of Kenya and Somalia is not compromised. And remember, apart from just the fact that Somalia has been suffering as a because of that suffering in Somalia, we've had infiltration by militia groups such as Al-Shabaab, making it very difficult for the relationship between Kenya and Somalia. But all in all, the hope is come September, there'll be a favorable ruling. But the first option from Parliament is indeed to get a mutual agreement between the Somalian government and the Kenyan government without necessarily invoking the last one, which is the military option, Mark.
Well, let's look forward to Thursday when this will be debated. And yes, there's a question of ICJ's jurisdiction. You've brought it up in the story, but we look forward to that debate and what will come of it.
Indeed. Ken, thanks very much indeed. Let's shift focus now to other stories making headlines. And the DCI is investigating Trade Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya for ordering the unconditional release of substandard edible oil impounded over a year ago.
The Kenya Bureau of Standards, which had impounded the consignment for being substandard, is also in trouble for the waiver of all fortification requirements, which is why the consignment was seized in the first place.
Well, the DCI, that's George Kinoti, who spoke to NTV's Mel Miendo, says the agency was blindsided in the dealings between the ministry, KEBS and the importer.
A consignment of edible cooking oil declared unfit for human consumption by the Kenya Bureau of Standards a year ago could have already been released into the market. And now the Directorate of Criminal Investigations that had impounded it is investigating Trade and Industries Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya for his role in ensuring its release. In a letter dated the 2nd of August, KEBS Acting Managing Director Bernard Njiraini tells Maybros Kenya Limited, the importer, that the trade CS had ordered its unconditional release. The letter was copied to the Customs and Border Control Commissioner, Kevin Safari, and Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director, Dan Manduku. KEBS further said all fortification requirements had been waived, Yet, this was why the consignment was seized. Njeraini's letter says, and I quote, "Please note that this waiver is only applicable to the indicated consignment and does not constitute into a waiver of the requirement for the future importation." End of quote. The DCI, which says the oil lacked vitamin A, a requisite requirement when importing edible oil, was all this while kept out of the loop. It is unclear if the product will be sold to companies for further processing or will be sold directly to consumers without being fortified with vitamin A, since the ministry did not set any conditions for the release. It is now investigating the CES for ordering the release of the consignment through the back door. Director George Kinoti, speaking to us on phone, questioned Munya's decision to have it released, saying it could be harmful to the public. Kinoti says Trade Cabinet Secretary Munya, KEB's Acting Managing Director Bernard Njeraini, Customs Border Control Commission PA Managing Director Dan Manduku are among those who will be investigated. Mel Miendo, NTV.
A group of suspected Al-Shabaab militants attacked Hulugo in Garissa County, destroying a telecommunication mast belonging to Safaricom.
Well, police say that 10 National Police Reservist officers who were manning the facility were overpowered, and their fate is not known since the area's communication network was cut off completely.
As you can see there in the picture, locals say that at around 1 a.m. a huge blast was heard in the area, which is about 18 kilometers from the Kenya-Somalia border.
Well, this happened as the Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutyambai, is touring the northeastern region, which he terms as having a high threat emanating from Somalia.
Police indicated that an unknown number of suspected militia ruined the vital installations, with high-powered firearms, I should say, such as RPGs and AK-47s.
Mutyambai has confirmed the attack and says more security officials have been deployed to pursue the attackers.
This is not the first. A similar incident was witnessed in the same place 2 years ago.
Now, ODM leader Raila Odinga has asked members of parliament to explain why they sent a delegation of 85 members to a conference in the United States, and the big question, how much it would cost.
Odinga spoke as the MPs defended themselves, saying they had only sent 5 members.
Well, led by the leader of Majority, Aden Duale, the MPs instead threatened to kick journalists out of parliament buildings.
And Mr. Speaker, we must tell the country how many members are there. Are they 5? Are they 10? Their names must be given. It's number one. Number two, Mr. Speaker, Parliament must make a formal complaint to the Media Council of Kenya.
Over 90 of our members of Parliament who accompanied the Speaker to the US, which is doing all round in the social media and other medias, showing us that we are only on the travel. And the House is full, you can see.
Parliament is under siege. Today, if you go anywhere in this country, you are not respected because of the campaign that the media is doing against Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, your recommendation and your decision should be, we should sack all the people working in this media house, because they have become rumor mongers, and they are just doing gutter press everywhere against members of Parliament.
Gutter press. Anyway, to a somewhat enlightening story. Actually, it is definitely an enlightening story. Not all heroes wear capes. Some simply drive taxis and clean buildings for a living.
Well, at least that's what happened when an Uber driver had to make an abrupt stop when his client, a middle-aged woman, went into labor and then delivered her baby inside his vehicle.
NTV's Zainab Ismail has more.
For Doris, giving birth to her baby boy at the back seat of a taxi in the middle of traffic was the last thing she planned for or expected. Her destination to the Nairobi West Hospital for a normal checkup was however cut short as her labor pains intensified. Besides, she was due on the 22nd of August, 2 weeks from now.
Alipiga duru sana, ikabidi saa tusimame tuite wamama wamsaidie.
The taxi driver says he too was caught by surprise, but had to think fast.
Mama alitoka akapotea akatuacha na msichana. Msichana na yeye hakuwa anaweza kitu, alikuwa tu analia na yeye akatoka pia, nikaachwa peke yangu.
That is when Evelyn Atieno, a cleaner at the Nation Center who was on her way home, came to give a helping hand.
Watu wameogopa, lakini mimi sikuogopa kwa sababu mimi ni mama. Sikuogopa, nikaweka chini kibeti, nikaingia ndani ya hiyo uba, nikaanza kumsaidia.
The women passing by stopped and used their cloaks to throw a cordon around the vehicle as the woman was assisted to give birth. Both mother and baby were then taken by an ambulance and rushed to hospital in Nairobi West. But rarely do residents of Nairobi witness such a show of empathy.
You know, they don't know how to help. But this is something they should, that should be taught even in school, like first aid. Yeah.
Let us be brothers keepers. Because by doing so, you are able to be a blessing to the other person.
In a visit to the Meridian Hospital where she is admitted, Doris was requested her privacy for the moment, says she is glad to have delivered her baby safely. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
What a story.
Yes, and we'd like to appreciate, I mean, there's still good people around, like Munene and Evelyn. Well, I don't really think the Uber driver had a choice.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice.
But Evelyn, just to step out of your way going home and help someone, we celebrate you. And perhaps the names should be either Munene or Evelyn, depending on the gender of the baby.
But it's up to you. That happened right outside Nation Center. Yes. I was leaving the building and I did see the big crowd out there.
And you didn't help.
It had already happened. It had already happened. And actually, I saw Evelyn's, the baby's mother actually walking assisted to a wheelchair. Yes, and then the main thing though is that both mother and baby are doing fine. May they be blessed. Yes. All right. On this point, we take a breather right here on NTV tonight. Stay with us. There's more coming up.
Once again, we are at it together. We are absolutely everywhere and we love it. This is what makes us tick. This is what makes our heart beat. It is always on the edge. It is always football time.
Get an HD decoder, dish kit, plus 2 months of DSTV family for only 4,999 shillings.
Kwa majina naitwa Alice Mwashuke, natoka Mombasa lakini naishi Nairobi. Nilikuwa shughuli zangu za kawaida, alafu mchana nikaamua kucheza. Jioni nikapitia kuona rafiki yangu, nikapigiwa simu. Niliambiwa nimeshinda 250. Hiyo kusema kweli ni pesa nzuri kwa sababu nitaweza kulipia mtoto wangu karo na naweza patia mwili wangu pole. Nairobi maisha si rahisi vile. Asante sana Lotto, tuzidi pamoja. Yay!
Win every day with Lotto and join over 30,000 winners this month. Plus, win over 1 million shillings on Wednesday or a guaranteed 1.2 million shillings this Saturday. Cheza tuzidi pamoja. Send 50 shillings to paybill number 77700. Account name NTV. Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
KCA University is home to the next generation of business, technology, and arts leaders in Kenya and the region. We offer practical courses where students develop trailblazing business models and ideas, innovative market-oriented technology concepts, and turn artistic endeavors into profit-making ventures. Our student-friendly chill zone ensures students unwind from class in a fun environment. Join KCA University to kickstart your academic journey. KCA University, advancing knowledge, driving change.
The Aerial Assurance Challenge.
Asante sana. Sasa, ni nini kingine ambacho unaweza kumfanyia msichana wetu?
Kila kitu, hata kufua nguo na Aerial mpya.
Basi, tuonyeshe.
Sasa fanya haya madoa yawe sugu zaidi. Sasa tufue kwa kutumia sabuni yako na kutumia Aerial mpya. Aerial sasa inapatikana kwenye pakiti mpya. Unaniamini sasa? Aerial huondoa madoa sugu kwa mwosho mmoja tu.
The Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender is hosting the 2019 National Youth Week from 6th August 2019, which will culminate with the commemoration of the International Youth Day on 12th August 2019 at Matunga, Kwale County. The theme of International Youth Day 2019, Transforming Education, will highlight the Kenyan government's efforts in ensuring that education is more inclusive, accessible, and that it is fit for purpose for all youth. The ministry will also launch 12 youth empowerment centers across the country to provide sports, guidance and counseling, and ICT services. The ministry invites all youth to participate in the activities that are being carried out across the country during this week through their county offices. International Youth Day 2019. Boresha elimu, wezesha vijana.
Super Loaf, slices of life.
Egerton University is the oldest institution of higher learning in Kenya, offering diverse and market-driven academic programs ranging from diploma, bachelor, master, and PhD. The university offers scholarships for needy and bright students, and we believe in experiential learning through practical sessions, field attachment, and internship programs within and outside the country. To be admitted to our programs, you need a minimum of a C- for diploma courses, C+ for bachelor degrees, second-class upper or lower division with experience for master degrees, and a relevant master degree for Doctor of Philosophy degrees. To apply for our programs, please visit application.egerton.ac.ke. Egerton University, transforming lives through quality education.
Someday I'm going to tell our children that once upon a time I met a thief. She stole my phone, and she stole my heart.
After gathering evidence and after presenting witnesses against Stella Cortez of the crime of estafa, falsification, and use of falsified documents, the court finds the accused guilty.
Buy a Smart Cab Plus from us at 1.25 million shillings and get 47,000 every month. A Smart Chop Chop Cab at 675,000 shillings and get 25,000 every month. Maridadi Motors. Move your status.
Welcome back. He may have been picked right out of the lecture halls and thrust into politics, but Bomet County Deputy Governor Hilary Barchok says that he has what it takes to navigate the politics that comes with the office that he's just about to step into.
Barchok spoke with NTV's Bridget Sngana on how he plans to take up and keep up the work started by his predecessor, the late Governor Joyce Laboso, a day before he's sworn into office.
We are also negotiating with other partners so that they can support us.
At 46, nothing would have prepared Hilary Barchok, a career educationist for life in the political limelight, than when the late Governor Joyce Laboso sought him out to be her running mate in the 2017 election.
I was a total stranger to her. We didn't have one-on-one relationship as such. So that is a clear message even to our leaders in this country that Her Excellency was very professional.
In the 2 years he deputized, Barchok says he got a front row view of the tough balance between leadership and politics, all the while hoping to follow in his mentor's gracious steps.
She was a very humble lady, never controversial. That is one thing. Even at times when we were faced with challenges, even from our opponents and so forth, she was calm. And every time she used to tell me, please, let us find ways of mending fences and bringing these people on board. That is a pledge I want to make to the people of Bomet and to the nation of Kenya. I will follow on the footsteps of Her Excellency.
He is now in her shoes, having inherited not just an office, but one of the heaviest tasks yet, bringing to life the dreams of the people of Bomet.
If there is any honor, if there is any respect that we can give to Her Excellency, is to realize the vision and the agenda that she had for the people of Bomet.
The soft-spoken university don has in some quarters been seen to lack the gusto and charisma associated with the heated politics that come with the high office. But he says he is ready.
But one thing I want to assure you is that I'm in politics and there is no turning back. But 2022 will take care of itself. The only thing that I want to do, and that is where I will put my energies, is to ensure that the legacy of Her Excellency lives on.
In his free time, Barchok is an ardent football fan. He says he supports the Chelsea Football Club. He will be sworn into office on Thursday. Bridget's, Ghana, NTV, Bomet County.
Totally agree with everything in terms of him moving forward, and all the best to you, Vona Barchok, and Godspeed. I just don't agree with the team you support, but anyway, that's besides the point. To some other developments of the day, young parliamentarians are proposing that a fund be set up to offer a monthly stipend to unemployed youth until they can find gainful employment.
Well, they made the proposal before the Building Bridges initiative that's taking public views on how best to fix the country's ills. Our Kennedy Moredi was there. Ken, what else stood out?
The youth, represented by young parliamentarians, proposed the introduction of 49 diaspora representatives who will be elected by the Kenyans living in the different parts of the world. 1 member of parliament in the National Assembly, 1 senator, and 47 members of the county assembly. They're also saying, through their representative, that is the member of parliament for Saboti, the diaspora remits about 25 billion shillings annually. This is according to the 2018 numbers, and they say that they really do need that. The MPs also argue the youth in the country can't get jobs because of the stringent requirements, and they propose the introduction of a monthly stipend, a program similar to that of the Pesa kwa Wazee, to cater for the unemployed. They also want the 2/3 gender rule abolished and instead have the affirmative action seats filled through appointive positions, as it is becoming increasingly difficult for Kenyans to vote in women. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union want specialists employed by the national government to control deployment. However, they still hold that health services should not revert to the national government, only calling for more resources to strengthen health systems in the counties. On its part, the LSK also wants the number of judges in the Judicial Service Commission reviewed downwards from the current 4 to 2. Well, that is what transpired today at the BBI, and we will be expecting that probably by Friday they will be closing shop so that they can go write a report and present it by September. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kennedy Moredi, for the BBI highlights from today's session.
All right, elsewhere, a suspected murderer has escaped from the Ongata Rongai prison station, where he was being held, with his disappearance being hours to his court date.
Police have launched a manhunt for the suspect, as well as an investigation into his escape.
That's right. Leila Mohammed reports that the suspect allegedly slid away from the officers guarding him at this police station as he was preparing to go to court to face charges over killing a woman and burying her in her own home compound.
On the evening of Monday, the 5th of August 2019, 20-year-old Wilfred Makori was taken from the Kajiado GK prison, where he was in remand, and taken to the Ongata Rongai police station for overnight stay before court case the next morning. But what happened in the wee hours of Tuesday, the 6th of August 2019?
At around 6:20 a.m., he escaped from our custody.
Further to this admission, the police also say that collusion between officers and the suspect is a possibility.
We initiated investigations which will reveal how he escaped and also which action will be taken to the people concerned.
The suspect has been arrested over the murder of Agnes McKenna, a businesswoman whose body was exhumed in her own compound 6 days after she went earlier this year. Her keen to follow the cause of justice for her encountered an unpleasant surprise when they went to court on Tuesday.
This case has been going on, and the witnesses have given out their witness for 2 times, and the others had come to give their witness today. Na tumengojea hapa mpaka saa hizi hatujaambiwa what is happening.
The police say that no law was flouted in the decision to move the suspect from prison into their custody before the arraignment.
We take people to answer cases. They are committed to remand prison. But for temporary court cases, they are normally brought to the police stations.
Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Leila Mohammed's report brings us to our second break here on NTV tonight as we take a second break, and we'll have Dan Wangi minding your business after.
School of Business, University of Nairobi, globally recognized and offering internationally accredited programs, invites applications for the September 2019 intake in the following postgraduate and undergraduate programs: Master in Business Administration, Master of Science in Marketing, Human Resources Management, Entrepreneurship and Innovations Management, Finance, Supply Chain Management, Operations and Technology Management, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor Commerce Distance Learning, Bachelor of Science in Finance, Accounting, Operations and Supply Chain Management. Programs are offered in Mombasa and Kisumu campuses and selected programs at the Eldoret Learning Center. Apply online through application.uonbi.ac.ke and be the first to secure admission at the most prestigious university in Sub-Saharan Africa. The University of Nairobi is a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
Do you know what makes my cooking fun? It's having a partner who shares my passion for healthy cooking. Avena, the new premium vegetable cooking oil, contains omega-6 and 9 and is fortified with vitamins A and D. Lunch! Thanks, partner. New Avena premium vegetable cooking oil. Now available in all leading stores.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a Fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge mbele bundles at affordable prices.
Making my family some nutritious porridge is a painstaking process. First, I have to find all the ingredients needed, and there are many. For vitamins, proteins, and minerals, I need cassava, sorghum, millet. You no longer need to go through all that to make nutritious porridge. All you need is NutriPro.
You don't have to go through the trouble of finding, measuring, and weighing all these vital ingredients. New NutriPro porridge flour comes fortified with 13 vitamins, proteins, and minerals. This means that you have more time to focus on what's important, giving your family the healthy start they deserve. NutriPro, bringing families together. From Tropical Brand.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
for maximum cavity protection.
And now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
Now is your time to dance and rejoice.
It's time for the Great Gospel Crusade with Evangelist Daniel Kolenda and the ministry of Reinhard Bonke Nakuru.
That Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father.
Come and receive your miracle from God at the 4-day Power Pack Crusade from Thursday 8th August to Sunday 11th August 2019. The venue is Afraha Stadium Open Grounds from 3 p.m. daily.
Come and be blessed.
Jesus is Lord.
We are driven by passion so as to meet the high demand for quality education. Our sole mission has been to provide holistic higher education by promoting excellence in research, integrating innovation and technology in learning. This has developed well-rounded citizens to impact the social, political, and economic world. We are proud to have mentored thousands of world-class graduates who have gone on to become captains of industry in their respective fields. We admit both government and self-sponsored students for our degree programs, all of which are accredited by the Commission for University Education. We also offer diploma and certificate programs. So if you want to go to the very top, look no further. ZTech University. Invent your future. Apply today for the September intake.
Good evening and welcome to NTV Business. My name is Dan Mwangi. The National Assembly has halted the bid by KCB Group to take over the National Bank on grounds that the offer undervalues the state-owned lender. The MPs have, however, proposed that NBK considers raising the much-needed capital through a rights issue rather than allowing KCB to take them over. Parliament argues that the 6 billion shillings offered by KCB undervalues NBK by at least a third. Last month, the board of the bank said it was aware of the lower valuation but still recommended that the shareholders accept the offer because there were no other offers. The National Science and Technology Exhibition Week, which is ongoing at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, has revealed the depth of creative talent that is inherent among the youth and in need of nurturing. Alex Mwangi toured some of the innovations on display and explains further.
Can you guess what this is? Well, it's an ugali pressure cooker, and you can say hi to a new method of cooking ugali that is more efficient. It has been designed by 2 students from Rera Secondary School who are Tracy Deborah and Joseph Muthoka. And they are now going to tell us how it works.
This is the temperature gauge. We used it to measure the temperature. This is the pressure. We used it to measure the pressure when you're cooking. This one is the motor. It rotates the stirrers that cook that stir the ugali. You can also use it manually like this. But when you have a power source like electricity, it rotates by itself. When it rotates, these stirrers rotate too also.
Kenya's main staple food today is ugali, and the ugali that most of the Kenyans consume, they use the refined flour, which means essential nutrients have been eroded from it. So we came up with our project Ugali Pressure Cooker, which will help people now to prepare the ugali using the unrefined flour. Our pressure cooker itself will prepare the ugali for you.
Counties have been urged to identify and nurture these talents in the youth in order to industrialize their economies.
Creating a culture and capacity for science at a county level not only improves the possibilities of prospects for the youth, but it also ensures that they're able to be closely linked to opportunities of self-employment and gainful employment, and at the same time contribute to county integrated development plans.
Alex Mwangi, NTV.
You know, there's pressure with maize, the product, in terms of the farming. There's also pressure with cooking ugali now. Things do change. Leading milk processors across the country have reduced producers' price of the commodity following an increase in supply in the market. Farmers are set to face a tougher season with a downward revision after fetching higher prices in the last few months as the country faced drought. In a public notice, Brookside Dairies says it has readjusted the prices of raw milk, which will see farmers earn 20 cents less for every kilo in respect to the current cess rate. A farmer producing less than 100 kilograms per day will receive 27 shillings, while one providing the processor with more than 5,000 kilograms will get 31 shillings per litre. New KCC has reviewed its farmers' prices downwards as well. Kitui County has met the target it was given by the Ministry of Interior to release the first batch of chiefs and sub-chiefs uniforms that were made at the Kitui County Textile Center, Kikotech. President Uhuru Kenyatta gave Kitui County the tender to produce the uniforms for all national administration officers in line with the manufacturing agenda of the Jubilee government.
Kitui County takes pride in being the first county to get the tender to supply uniforms for chiefs, assistant chiefs and other officials of the national administration. It is also a great boost to the county's economy.
It has made the 350 young people who we have employed continue to work. If we had not gotten this, maybe they would have been let to go home and stay in their homes and not getting what they are getting today.
Tunajaribu kuleta youth pamoja, wa train in the skills that can be adapted in other areas to create opportunity for employment.
The operations here are carried out under different cadres. The first one deals with the cutting of the material once it has been brought in at the far end. Then we have another one that deals with the creation of the components, the pockets and the likes, and they have their place there. Then these two rows here, we have another cadre that deals with the assembling of these garments. And then on the last row there, we have the team that deals with finishing. Also remember, they have another branch that deals with the creation and the manufacturing of the sweaters and the pullovers and the likes. On the far end, they have the ultra-modern machine for that. And then behind me, we have another department which deals with embroidery. That's where the writings are done on the garments.
Today we are delivering 2,800 units, pieces, and the balance of 3,700 will be done in another 1 month, and we will have completed all the work that we were given.
Tunashukuru pia kwa kumit the target ile ambayo tulikuwa tumempatia for the first batch. Tutaireceive sisi kwa sababu kazi yetu ni kureceive. We have another team in Nairobi ambao watafanya the inspection, the last inspection.
Kitui County has presented its request for police uniform tender consideration, which is still in process. Daniel Mule, NTV.
From seeing how Kitui County is not only making clothes but also money, let's see how your money is treating you at the boss.
NTV Financial Report in association with the University of Nairobi. NTV Financial Report in association with the University of Nairobi.
Be the first to secure admission at the most prestigious university in sub-Saharan Africa. The University of Nairobi is a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
Now, before we close business, let's take a look at some matters on transport and the SGR. The transport CS, that's James Masharia, has told truck transporters aggrieved by the directive to move all cargo on the standard gauge railway to seize business opportunities at the ports of Lamu as well as that of Kisumu. Speaking at the launch of the Kenya Port Authority strategic plan, the CS maintains that the move is geared towards reducing congestion at the port and improving efficiency at the facility that will ensure fast delivery of cargo.
Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia has been summoned to appear before Parliament tomorrow to shed more light on the government's directive to have all imported cargo be ferried to the inland container depot in Nairobi via the SGR for clearance. The move, which was supposed to take effect today, has been indefinitely suspended.
Tunafungua corridor zingine kama kule Lamu, wajua Lamu kama nilisema zile baadhi tatu za kwanza zitakuwa zimekamilika ifikapo mwezi wa Oktoba. Kwa hivyo hii magari yote ambayo inafanya kazi hapa inaweza enda huko ile tunaita lapsed corridor. Halafu wajua hata tukitumia SGR mpaka kiwango cha juu sana, ni lazima kuwe na mizigo ambayo itaenda kwa barabara.
CS Macharia says that the government suspended the order to give room for more consultations between stakeholders so as to outline key areas of concerns that need to be addressed before its full implementation. He also reiterated that with the millions of tons of cargo imported, freight services would be part of the solution towards a settlement of the loan involving construction of state-funded projects.
Tumejipanga, first installment itakuwa mwezi wa Januari 2020, na hiyo kiwango tumeweka. Kwa hivyo watu wasiwe na wasiwasi, hii reli sasa inajilipia. In a break even.
The government still maintains that the movement of cargo from the port of Mombasa to Nairobi via SGR is geared towards reducing congestion at the port to allow efficient delivery of services. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
That's it for NTV Business. I'm done, but Mark, Smriti and Brian Otwal are not. Good night.
This is MotoHub, ultimately Kenya's finest car dealer company. Our cars are carefully sourced and selected, backed up with excellent skilled personnel. Our aim is to ensure value for your money as well as peace of mind.
When it comes to affordability check, reliability check, finance check, quality defined check, any type of car check. Whenever you need that dream car, tutembele. Mambo hapa yamenyooka nyoronyoro.
So, are you in need of a car? Now you know. MotoHub, we are quality redefined.
Why are you filming, Mommy?
To help people stop getting sick. People think the weather makes them sick. Actually, it's the germs. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs, including the cold and flu virus.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru on 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE. Nation FM. More music and less talk. Get tested, get vaccinated, and if infected, get the right treatment. For more information, visit www.kickthevirus.com.
Welcome back. It's been 21 years, believe it or not, since the August 7th, 1998 bombing at the U.S. Embassy that left hundreds dead and thousands of casualties.
Family and those who lost loved ones came together to pay homage to the victims. NTV's Helen Aura has the story.
Boniface Mutua's memory of the 7th of August 1998 is still as animated, 21 years on.
Na hii siku inamaanisha ni kama kifo kwangu. Manake nikija nione, hata nikipita, wacha siku hii ya leo, hata siku ingine nipitie hapa karibu, hata siku ingine nisikie kitu inafanya ndu hapa, ndu mahali nastuka.
But he would rather forget the events of that day that left him scarred.
When I had the second blast, I fell down and I covered myself with this. Now, it went in a full blast and I found myself in Kenyatta.
Just like Boniface, Julia also tells of how that terror attack robbed her of a loved one.
Very young, she was just 20 years. It's a sad day for us.
The August 7th terrorist attack at the US Embassy was the largest ever in the country's memory. There were over 200 deaths and thousands of casualties. Promises of help for some of the victims have, however, never materialized. Boniface has since been on medication to help suppress the physical pain from his wounds. His life forever altered as those of many others touched by death. Helen Aura, NTV.
Well, 21 years later, and as Helen reports, some promises have still not been met.
Hopefully this is a good reminder, but it remains as a dark spot in our country's history. It's time for another break.
That's right. The sports news is coming up with Brian Otwal.
Konza Greens is the only controlled residential development within Konza Techno City Buffer Zone. Secure your future today.
Are you ready for Kenya's most anticipated color run? The Plascon Color Run. On Sunday, August 11th, the Color Storm hits Uhuru Gardens, Langata Road. Come experience a whole new level of heaven on earth. DJ Music Mix Entertainment and performances by renowned artists. Gates open at 10 a.m. Available kids arena. Plenty of food and drinks all day long. Simply dial *229*38# or log on to www.mtickets.com to get your ticket today. Plascon, color your world.
Well,
thank you so much.
Can I buy a chocolate, please? It's for my mom. Happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you, Bella. There's a class and a half in everyone.
Enjoy all your favorite NTV programs on all free-to-air set-top boxes and digital TVs. Catch us on ADN Channel 101 and 103, DSTV Channel 271, GoTV Channel 91, Zuku Channel 13, and Star Times Channel 106. NTV, turning on your world.
Someday I'm going to tell our children that once upon a time I met a thief. She stole my phone. And she stole my heart.
After gathering evidence and after presenting witnesses against Stella Cortez of the crime of estafa, falsification, and use of falsified documents, the court finds the accused guilty.
Buy a Smart Cab Plus from us at 1.25 million shillings and get 47,000 every month. A Smart Chop Chop Cab at 675,000 shillings and get 25,000 every month. Maridadi Motors. Move your status.
Hope you had a fantastic day today. Let's have a look at the day's sports news. Welcome, my name is Brian Otwal. With the Jubilee government not fulfilling its 2013 campaign promise of 5 stadia, sporting infrastructure continues to be a challenge in the country. Coastal side Bandari will have to play its CAF Confederation Cup games in Nairobi, and the team is already in the capital, and Warothe Kiru attended their first training at the Jamhuri High School.
Lack of stadia in Mombasa County has resulted in Bandari playing its CAF Confederation matches here in Nairobi. This is an indictment on the county government as well as the national government in as far as stadia infrastructure is concerned.
With Kenyatta Stadium Machakos falling out of favor with CAF and Nyayo Stadium renovation never ending, Kenya has only one CAF-approved stadium, Kasarani. This means coastal-based Bandari fans will have to travel to Nairobi to cheer their team as they kick off their continental campaign.
Hata kama tuko Nairobi, bado Nairobi ni Kenya. Najua watakuwa njiani wakijiandaa kukuja kutupatia nguvu.
Which was knocked out in its first round of its last CAF Confederation Cup outing, has set a target against Sudan's El Ali Shandi in the preliminary round.
Kwa nyumbani lazima vyovyote tupate pointi 3.
Bandari enjoyed a pre-season
wanapoteza, so wanajaribu kwa
KPL last season. Shikalo has since moved to Yanga.
Kipa ambao wapo ambao walikuwa nyuma yake wako tayari kuchukua nafasi hiyo na
NTV.
And I'm certain the team is ready to give their best.
And Kenyan ladies registered mixed results on day 2 of the International Tennis Federation ITF World Women's Tour that is ongoing at the Peponi School in Kiambu County. Top seed Angela Kutoid edged out Demitran of Netherlands in 7-5, 6-5 to join her teammates Faith Nyabera and Judith Nkata in the second round. It was not a good outing for another Kenyan, Fatia Sharif, who lost 6-1, 6-love to Mariana Galvao of Brazil. Nkata is set to meet Lexi Stevens from the Netherlands in the second round, while Nyabera will play Serbian Nevena Sokovic. All right, that's all. But the transfer season coming to an end. That is the English Premier League transfer season, just hours to the conclusion, with many more clubs seeking to bring in and sell out the baggages that they have in their squad. A lot more of that in our subsequent bulletins, that is from tomorrow. But for now, have a lovely night. My name is Brian Otwal. Back to you, Mark and Smriti.
Thank you, Brad Twal and the sports desk for that. Just before we leave, just a response to our question tonight on the Kwale women representative incident. Zuleika Hassan, she came with her baby into the chambers of Parliament, and she was asked to leave and withdraw. And these are some of the responses. Mr. Kibonge 254, you say bringing a child into the chambers is disruptive to the House business. What every county parliament needs: separate nursing quarters for mothers and professional babysitters to cater for the children who cannot be left at home.
That's right. Another response here by Janabi Bajo. You say small matter. Babies need the suckle. Let's focus on cancer, corruption, youth and unemployment.
Kisika Sam, you say, guys, every institution has its own rules and regulations. I thought you communication in your story to balance it out, but the reporter didn't. This pointing out the standing orders that prohibit anyone who's not meant to be in the chambers not to be within the precincts of the same. And of course, one supporting what Zuleika did, and this is just actually more of sympathizing. Ribi, you say that was completely uncalled for. The baby made no fuss whatsoever to disrupt the proceedings. What do they think a baby is? If they all indeed have babies, why the uncouth reception? If they are appalled by the sight of babies, let them provide a nursing room.
And baby Baraka was referred to as a stranger in the house. But anyway, it is an emotive debate eliciting various reactions. Thanks for your contribution on NTV tonight. David Agondoa has been our sign language interpreter. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. Good night.
And a big team has been behind the scenes making this possible. Can't name them all because of time. I'm Mark Pasai. Good night.
This is NTV.